All right, welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. Give me a call tonight. 412-575-2600 is the number. We can also go out to Twitter, and if you want to give me a holler on Twitter, it's at Richie Walsh. I'm easy to find, unless I blocked you. But I'm trying to unblock people. I'm becoming nicer. I want to interact with more people as long as you're nice and as long as you play nice, I guess, on Twitter. And then I will unblock you. But I am taking phone calls tonight, 412-575-2600. And we do have control over those phone calls. So let's go out to David in the South Side. How you doing, David?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
I just wanted to make a statement that I had seen on TV today that Ben hasn't been playing well. In fact, his numbers been going down the last couple seasons, and that's because he hasn't been full strength. You know, he hasn't had everybody around him, Bryant, Bell, and people need to calm down. As long as they win their division and get in the playoffs, I think they'll be all right. What do you think?
You're talking about Ben? Is that who you said? I thought you said Will. Did you say Ben? You're talking about Ben? You know, I'm not really worried about the Steelers. They got off to a slow start last year, and you saw what they did. I still think that they're one of the best teams in the AFC. They're the best team in the AFC North. So we'll see what happens this week. This is the team. The only thing that concerns me about this team throughout the season is the fact that they played down to their competition. You can just sense it on the field that, you know, they know they're better than the Browns. They know they're better than the Bears. They know they're better than the Jaguars. And they just think they're going to go walk through and win. And that's what happens most of the time. And I don't know where that comes from. I guess you would have to blame the coaches, you know, or the attitude of the leaders in that locker room, in that clubhouse, because it happens time and time again. Someone's at fault for that, and they don't play up to they play down to they play down to their competition. Now, when they play a good opponent, you always notice that they rise to the occasion. That's why I kind of like the Steelers this week. I know they're a 4-point underdog in Kansas City, and that is a tough place to play. But this offense, if it comes alive, there's not too many teams that can hold them back, and they can outscore anyone or should be able to outscore anyone. Right now, things just haven't been clicking for this team. But, you know, I expect the Steelers to win this game in Kansas City. I thought they were going to win Jacksonville, but after coming off a loss like that and playing a really good team with pretty much everyone healthy, I like the Steelers to win that game because I still think they're better than just about everyone in the AFC. I think they're better than the Chiefs. The Chiefs have had close games with everyone that they've played. So this game's going to be close, and I think the Steelers are going to come out and win it. I'm not worried about this team. The only reason that it's a concern is you keep losing to some bad teams like they did last year and the year before. Now you're going to drop in your seeding. You're not going to get a bye. So that's why it's tougher to get to the Super Bowl. But when you have to rise to the occasion in the playoffs and you're playing good teams, and usually the Steelers rise to those occasions, it's just the bad teams that start to worry me now, and even more so this year for some reason. So I think that they're going to win that game in Kansas City, and I'm not too worried about it. Let's go back out to the phone lines and go out to Kevin. And where are you at? Kevin Castle Shannon. How you doing, Kevin?
How you doing, Richie?
Hey.
I have a question, though. You kind of touched up on this, but who said Jacksonville was bad? Like, what made the Steelers think that they can just beat them?
Well, you know, maybe you misunderstood what they were what, an 11-point favorite in that game. I'm not saying that they're bad. It's a team that the Steelers should beat. Look who they have on offense. They don't really have a receiver. They don't have a quarterback. They have a pretty good running back. Their defense is really good. But if you match up the Steelers and Jacksonville, I would imagine 10 out of 10 people would say the Steelers were going to win that game, not even cover the spread, win the game. And they couldn't even do that. Okay. You know, you got to look at what Jacksonville did this year. They beat some good teams and they lose to the Jets. So if a team loses to the Jets, they got to be a bad team, right?
Well, the Steelers lost to the Bears.
Yeah, exactly. You know, look, I mean, Jacksonville is Jacksonville. I don't know if they're a playoff team, and it's a team that definitely doesn't scare me if the Steelers are going to have to play them in the postseason. I mean, you got to look at their quarterback. That's where it starts, and I think if you don't have a good quarterback, you're not going to go too far in this league. Maybe Jacksonville was a 7-9 team. I'm not going to say they're one of the worst teams in the NFL, but they're not in the caliber of a Steelers team.
No, I just wanted to get your opinion. Yeah. It seems like all week people.
Yeah, they got a great defense. There's no question about it. but their run defense is one of the worst in the NFL, and the Steelers decided not to run the ball. So there's a lot of problems, and maybe the game dictated that, but that was still a game in the third quarter, and they were still throwing the ball everywhere. Ed Bouchette has some great stats. If you watch our news tonight, he has a report. He's our Steelers insider on KDKA-TV News, and he has some great stats of why Ben should not throw over 300 yards. You know, the stats tell the story. He's 50% when he throws over in games when he throws over 300 yards. When he throws under 300 yards, he's like 71 winning percentage. So the odds are in his favor. If they run the ball more, throw the ball less. And then I think out of games, his top 10 games or top 15 games that he has thrown for the most yardage he threw in games, the top 15, he's won 3 of them. Something in that range. You'll hear all the good stats from Ed Bouchette. I don't know him exactly. I talked to him and heard about it, but he's going to have him on our news tonight. And I think it really tells the story of Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers offense that they need to be 50-50 on the run pass. All right, back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Lewis in Brookline. How you doing, Lewis?
Hey, what's up, Rich?
Hey, what's going on?
Well, I don't know. Ben seems to me is slowing down with his age and doesn't want to scramble or run. I think we ought to start looking to the future. What do you think in the college ranks the Steelers might want to take a look at in the draft next year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know there's some mock drafts out there that have him taking inside linebacker or something along those lines. I don't know. I mean, it depends on this Le'Veon Bell situation. Do they go after a running back? It depends on where they draft. I mean, I could look at the positions of need. I don't know who they would draft because you don't know where they would fall. I mean, if they continue this and go 8-8 this year, they're going to be in the middle of the pack. That's, you know, that would be the worst case scenario. But you would expect this team's going to go pretty far and pick in the late 20s or early 30s. And then at that point, you maybe can get a running back. I don't know if they're going to draft a quarterback. If they're drafting that late, they're not going to get one of those top quarterbacks that are going in the top 10 picks. They're not drafted in the top 10. They're going to have to find a replacement for Ben Roethlisberger at some point. I don't think he's retiring as much as he says he thinks about it, and maybe that the way he's playing, I don't think – I can't see Ben not playing for 2 more years at least. That's my opinion. And that's the feeling that I get from being around this team, that this guy's not retiring. Why is he going to give up a lot of money to retire? He's still on a good team. They have a lot of weapons, and I understand he doesn't want to, you know, lose his mind and, you know, or you know, get another concussion and CTE. Everyone's worried about that. I understand that. So maybe that is in his wife trying to talk him out of it. Maybe that'll be reasons for him to retire, but I can't see him walking away just yet. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and I just can't see him retiring next year. So I think the Steelers honestly have like 2 years, 3 years maybe to really figure out that. I think the Ben Roethlisberger thing, it kind of reminds me of like the Brett Favre. He's going to retire. No, he isn't going to retire, and he hangs around for 3-4 more years, and Aaron Rodgers is just sitting on the sidelines. And finally, you have to do something about it. So I think that's going to be the kind of the situation, you know, maybe 2 years from now. Not this draft, in a couple more years. This team is really good. They got a lot of weapons, and I don't see him walking away from a team that has a chance to win a Super Bowl this year and next year, I would imagine. But as where you're going to draft, I mean, if they don't franchise Le'Veon Bell, maybe they'll go after a running back. If they can't sign him, I don't know, maybe an inside linebacker. Those are the 2 positions I would think that they would look at. Maybe a safety, depending on what they do with Mike Mitchell, something like that. All right, what time is it? I got to take a break. We're going to take more phone calls and maybe more tweets when I come back. Stay right there.